Good morning, good morning. So it is Saturday, June 7th, and I have a completely free weekend. My husband is away again at drill, and I have no other commitments this weekend, so I thought it would be fun to do another 48-hour reading vlog. I figured I would just come on and start the vlog because I have quite a few things that I want to read in this video. Hi, Mama. And of course, immediately Olive wants to be in the video. So it stormed pretty badly last night, but it doesn't look like it's gonna rain at all today. So I thought that it would be a good day to go ahead and go to the farmer's market in town. I don't need a lot when it comes to produce, but I do want to check if the people that I normally source meat from are there. I generally get whatever meat I do eat from a local farmer and who has like better practices and things like that. And the meat is all, you know, organic and hormone free and all of that. So I try to do that whenever I'm sourcing meat, but I'm completely out of basically anything. So I would like to walk over and see if I can find some things. And because it's so close by, I think I'm just gonna walk. Because I was like, well, I could just go for a walk this morning and then go to the farmer's market or vice versa, but I might as well just combine the two. So that is the plan as of right now. I'm gonna walk over to the farmer's market and try to find the meat. But before I do that, I did want to share kind of what I am hoping to read in this video. So the point of this vlog is, well, of course, to read as much as possible in 48 hours and film all of it. But also, I feel like I have been kind of heading into another slump, which is very unfortunate because I have so many things that I need to be reading over the summer. And in May, I feel like my reading life kind of took a turn for the worse. I mean, I read some amazing books, so like it wasn't a bad reading month in that respect. But toward the end of the month, I started really struggling to get into books, and I feel like I've rated a lot of things 3 stars. But I'm hoping that pivoting away from the things that I am supposed to be reading and just read things that I'm excited about, I'm hoping that that will kind of boost my excitement to read again. And all of these are short books, so I'm hoping to read as much as possible and kind of get through a couple of books, because that'll help me feel a little bit better if I'm just like blowing through things. So I'm choosing short books for this. And I have 2 audiobooks and 2 physical books. Now, I don't have to finish these by any means. It likely will not happen, but I'm going into it hoping that I can. The first one is, it's not an overly short book, but it is the one that I'm currently reading, so I do want to prioritize this. It is Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. This was a very exciting, highly anticipated book for me, and I was going to wait for it on audio, and then I saw this copy in a local bookstore, and like the end papers are beautiful. The like under the dust jacket is so pretty. So I just ended up picking it up because I was like, this is a book, a weird woman book about a floral designer. So I feel like it's going to be exactly what I'm looking for. I'm only 41 pages into it, but this isn't an overly long book. It's not even 300 pages. It looks like it's 271. So I'm hoping that this will be doable for me. And if I do finish physically reading that, I have Open Throat by Henry Hoke, and this is a very short book. It is only, let's see, it's only 156 pages, and the book size is very small, and also there is like super sparse text on the page. So this is probably not going to take me very long. And then for audiobooks, the 2 that I'm hoping to work on are The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar. This one is on Libby. They're both on Libby, and this one is one that my aunt recommended to me, and I'm talking to her tomorrow, and so I'm thinking if I can wrap this one up today. It's only a 4-hour audiobook, so I'm hoping to prioritize that one today, and that way I can like talk to her about it tomorrow morning when I call her. Very different sort of genre for me, being like speculative fiction type of thing, but she said it was amazing, and so I'm taking her recommendation and reading it. And then the other one is Nevada by Imogen Benny. This is a book about a trans woman, I believe. I've heard a lot of really good things about that book, and so I'm sort of going into it almost blind, not knowing a lot about the plot. Please excuse my cat in the background. She is attacking a chair. Oh, and that audiobook is 7 hours, so it's a bit longer, but it's not too bad. So those are the ones that I'm hoping to prioritize in the next couple of days. I have a couple of queer reads in there. Imogen is a queer read, and then this one is also a queer read, and then This one, maybe, I'm not sure where it's going yet. It seems like it's gonna have some like sapphic vibes to it. So applicable to June times, but also things that I'm just really excited to read. So those are the books that I am planning on reading, hopefully in this video, but I think I'm going to make my way to the farmer's market and I will take you along with me. Okay, so I'm back and I found something I'm very excited about. They had garlic scapes there and I'm like literally losing my mind. I love garlic scapes and I feel like I never find them unless I go to like the farmer's market that's like 45, 50 minutes away. And I haven't been this season. So this was my first farmer's market of the season, even just in town, and they had garlic scapes. So they smell incredible and I'm so excited to roast these up. I also got some sausage and funny story. So I have like 2 of like the regular mild Italian sausage, but I also have this giant bag of sausage. So essentially what they said is they recently found a stash of chorizo that was in their freezer that is starting to get, you know, it's still fine, but it's like starting to get, you know, necessary to sell it. So he basically said, can I give you 10 pounds of chorizo for $25? And I was like, sold. I love chorizo and I will absolutely use it. So it's perfectly good. It's been frozen and everything. But it's just needing to be sold. So I'm gonna put this away real quick. Okay, so it is about 2:30 and I haven't updated in a couple of hours because I decided to go to another farmer's market. The one that my friends who I used to work with when I worked at the coffee shop, they still brew coffee sometimes at the farmer's market. So I decided to go and visit and get a cup of coffee, and then I ended up hanging out back at their place for a little while. So I was gone for longer than anticipated, but that is okay because I got to have some unexpected friend time, so that was exciting. But when I got home, I realized that the sun is shining and it has not been sunny like consistently in quite a while. We've been having crazy amounts of rain here. And so I figured today would be a good day to make some sun tea, which I haven't made at all this season, even though we have had some hot days. I have not made any sun tea yet. So I am working on preparing that. I have all these green tea bags. Oh, I'm dropping things. So if you haven't made sun tea before, essentially what you do is get a whole bunch of tea bags, whichever kind you want. I like to do a green tea. And we have this like giant box of green tea that we got at like Sam's Club, I think. And then you get like a big jar or some kind of big container, glass container. And then you put all the tea in there and put cold water in there and then leave it outside in the sun for several hours, however long you want. And then you have sun brewed tea and it is the best. It is such a like quintessential summer thing for me. It's very nostalgic because I used to have that as a kid all the time. So I thought that I would get that started. I think I'm gonna do 12 bags this time and I'm gonna keep filling this up. I'm basically just waiting for my fridge to refill my water pitcher so I can keep adding filtered water to this container. I may top it off a little bit with some extra water once it fills back up, but for now, I'm just gonna gather everybody together. Stick it down in here. Sort of like to tuck it around these like metal parts. It kind of helps it to not fall completely in. So I just sort of just loop it through that way, tuck it in like that, and then it stays, and then I'll add a little bit more water, and then I'll pop this outside in the backyard. It gets me every time. This is the best kombucha ever. It is the Hum Blackberry. Amazing, incredible. So I'm about to put a record on because I'm gonna have a little bit of like a quiet, nice reading session with some incense and a record to just set the vibe But I wanted to come over here and show you some of my new records because recently I've been getting quite a few records. I got a couple around my birthday time, and then I also just a few days ago went to a record shop with a friend in Tulsa, and I picked up 3 more records that I'm so excited about. So this is like a little record tour, but it's not every single record that I have, just the ones that I've gotten in the past like month or so. So let's get into it. Okay, starting off on the side, first I have this one. This is the album Yard by Slow Pulp, and Slow Pulp is kind of a new find for me. This is just like a plain black record. But yeah, I found Slow Pulp. I think it was somebody online actually was recommending Slow Pulp as somebody to listen to if you like Clairo, and so I gave this album a try. This was the album that they were suggesting. It was some record store, their social media team had come up with this idea of like, if you like this record, you might like these ones, whatever. So this was one of the ones that they recommended, and I really, really love it. I fell in love with it, and I ended up ordering it as part of like a birthday thing. Yeah, I love the like cover of this. This is sort of like a slightly heavier band than Clairo, but I do see like the comparison. So if you like Clairo, Slow Pulp is awesome. This is the only album that I have of theirs, but I absolutely love it. So I got that, and then next up I have Lucy Dacus's new album Forever Is a Feeling. Olive is running around and being chaotic, so just excuse that in the background. But this is her new album, and I'm going to see her in September, and I'm so pumped. She's also a more recent favorite for me, but I have been just binging all of her music, and I've been obsessed, and this album is just everything chef's kiss, beautiful, incredible. So I've been listening to this a ton, and it is a perfect background situation for reading or for whatever I'm doing around the house. So I love this one. It's also a clear one. I'll show you the record. It's clear, it's so pretty. I love it. So excited about that. And what's really cool is that Slow Pulp is opening for Lucy Dacus at the concert that I'm going to. So that works out very well that I have both of those records, and I'm gonna be like listening to those in preparation. The next one that I got that's new is this one by Gregory Alan Isakov. So he is one of my absolute favorite musicians of all time. He writes such beautiful music and lyrics, and I love him. So I got this one. I already have one of his albums, Evening Machines, but this was Appaloosa Bones. This is his most recent album, and this was like a special edition that I had a coupon for, which was really cool. And it is green, which is just, it's gorgeous, and I love this album, and this is also perfect reading music. So love that. Okay, the last new one that I got before a couple days ago was Automatic. This is the Lumineers' latest album, and this one is also very pretty inside. Incredible, beautiful, gorgeous. Love the colors. It's just the other side too. So pretty. Yeah, lots of colors, just like the front cover here. So I have all 5 of their albums. So that completes the set of their work up to now. So yeah. Okay, so then the ones that I got the other day. So I first found this album. So this is Crosby, Stills and Nash, Deja Vu, and this is a very old record. It is kind of beat up, but the actual record itself is like perfect, not scratched or anything, not damaged. But the cover of this is you know, very vintage, but I just was so thrilled when I found this. It was like $8 and it's in perfect condition. And yeah, that's what the inside looks like. When I like first found this one, I thought the record was not inside of it because I was like looking in between these 2 pockets instead of like looking in the side pocket. And because this record is so thin, like they don't make them this thin anymore, it's so thin that I couldn't even feel that there was a record in there, which was kind of funny. But very excited about that one. I love Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And then I found this Crosby, Stills and Nash album, and it was also very exciting. This one I think was new, or it wasn't. Yeah, this was a new, brand new one, not a used one. But Lovely, lovely, lovely. So funny story, I actually, when I was working at the library in New York, I worked with someone whose uncle took this photo. So very cool. I feel like I have a little extra connection to it, but I love all things Woodstock and all things 60s and 70s. And so I found those, and then I bought those two, and then my friend basically was like, did you see this? And yeah, I had to go back and buy it. So this is recordings of the music of Woodstock. This is like straight up the recordings from Woodstock. And it is extremely heavy. It is 3 discs, and it opens like this. I can't even show the whole thing on camera. There are 3 discs, 6 sides, and it's a selection of the music, the recordings of Woodstock. So not every single song by any means, and not every single artist, but they hit a lot of the major players. So Richie Havens, Country Joe and the Fish, Arlo Guthrie, Sha-Na-Na, The Who, Joe Cocker, Santana, Jefferson Airplane, Sly and the Family Stone, etc. Jimi Hendrix at the end. So lots of good stuff. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have Creedence Clearwater Revival or Janis Joplin in this collection, but they could not get all of it in there. I get it. I mean, it was 3 full days of music, so there was no way, but they did have a couple of my favorites. They do have Judy Blue Eyes by Crosby, Stills and Nash on here, which makes me very happy. They also have With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker, which was the one that I turned on when I first got home after I came home from getting this album. So exciting. I love it so much. And I was shocked that this was only $30. I was expecting this to be like $60 to $70, like to the point that like now some of the records that are this many discs are like $80. Like I remember I tried to, when I was going to pick out this album, Stick Season by Noah Kahan, this is 2 discs and it was kind of expensive. I don't remember quite what it was, but the like Forever album, like the longer extended version of this album was $80. And I was like, nope, no way. I can just listen to it on my phone. That's fine. So yeah, the fact that this was $30 was just mind-boggling. So yeah, super exciting stuff. My little collection here is growing a bit. I still don't have like a ton of records, but I have the amount of records that fits the amount that I listen to records, if that makes sense. I feel like this is a good selection, and every time I come across one that is really exciting, or if there's an album that I like fall in love with and I want to get an album of it or record of it, I will do that, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need to go out and buy every vinyl that of an album that I like. So that's kind of where I am with that. Those are the new vinyls that I have that I wanted to share with you. And I think I'm gonna put a record on and do a little bit of reading. Oh, I do need to update you real quick. So let me put a record on and then I'll keep talking to you. Okay, so for my progress on The River Has Roots, I have about an hour left, slightly over an hour left. I'm listening to this a bit faster than normal speed, so it will get done relatively quickly, but that is where I'm at in The River Has Roots. So far, I feel like I have mixed feelings about it. I think like the writing is really beautiful, and the idea of grammar and like trees and all of these things weaving together, and there's sort of like a magic system that involves grammar, so there's a lot of wordplay and a lot of just like fun metaphors and things like that in the book, and so I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. It does feel quite a bit different than what I normally read, so I'll just read you the description because I feel like I have a hard time kind of figuring out how to describe it to you. So the description says, in a small town of Thistleford on the edge of Ferry dwells the mysterious Hawthorne family. There they tend and harvest enchanted willows and honor an ancient contract to sing to them in thanks for their magic. None more devoted than the family's latest daughters, Esther and Isabel, who cherish each other as much as they cherish the ancient trees. But when Esther rejects a forceful suitor in favor of a lover from the land of Fairy, not only the sisters' bond, but also their lives will be at risk. So at the moment, we're sort of getting more into the aspect of the plot that's focused on Esther being with this lover and all the things that are coming with that. So it is I think, more character-focused story in terms of like the interpersonal relationships and then the relationships with the land and the trees. So I do like it so far. I'm about halfway. I don't know if I said that, but I'm about halfway. And I am liking it, but I do feel like I'm not used to reading something that has a whole like magic system to it, and it feels a little bit outside of my comfort zone in that way. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but it's taken me basically until right now to start actually connecting with the characters and connecting with the story. It just took me quite a while to get into it. I don't know why or if there's any particular reason for that, but it just took me quite a while to get invested in the characters and feel connected to the story. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that I have to learn some different system of magic, even though I don't feel like it's overly complicated. It's just having to suspend your disbelief and be in this other world that is not our world. That always takes a little bit more brain power and a little bit longer for me to get invested in, because a lot of the books that I read honestly are, you know, set nowadays or somewhere around present day in our world. And if there is something weird going on, it's like a magical realism type of thing where everything else about it is the same except for this one thing, for example. So I'm not used to living in a whole different world in a story. So it's taking me a little while to get invested, but it's not a bad thing. So that is where I'm at with that book, but I am going to take a slight break with that and listen to my record and read a little bit. So I'm going to be continuing with Eat the Ones You Love. I am on page 40 right now, so I'm going to just continue and pick up from there. The description of this one says, after losing her job and her fiance and moving back from the city to live with her parents, Shell Pine needs some help. And according to the sign in the window, the florist shop in the mall does too. Shell gets the gig, and the flowers that she works with there are just the things she needs to cheer up. Or maybe it's Neb, the beautiful shop manager, who's making her days so rosy. But you have to get your hands dirty if you want your garden to grow, and Neb's secrets are as dark and dangerous as they come. In the back room of the flower shop, a young sentient orchid actually runs the show, and he is hungry, and he has a plan for them all. So it sounds super weird. The only comment that I've heard about this, and I'm trying to keep like other people's opinions out until I finish this, is that it could have been weirder. It was more tame than they expected, but the representation having a floral designer as part of the story, and it is a Weird Woman book, that makes me super excited, and so far I am really liking it. So we'll see what direction it goes in and whether or not it wows me with the weirdness. I feel like the weirder and weirder books that I read, the harder it is for me to be shocked by anything. So we'll see if this is weird enough or shocking enough. However, looking for weirdness and shock value isn't always the best thing, because I don't want to, you know, pass over books that are more tame just because it's not going to shock me if the writing is really great and the story is really great. So I am really feeling positive about this so far, but I'm just going to continue and hope that the trajectory stays that way. But yeah, I'm going to have a chill little reading session, and then hopefully read this for a while until I have to start making dinner, thinking about dinner, and then at that point I'll probably switch back to the audiobook and finish that tonight. So gonna read as much as I can of this for like 2 hours or so, and then we'll see how we go from there. I am gonna take the dust jacket off though, because it's harder to read with the dust jacket on. Okay, so excuse the lighting, but it is starting to get a little bit dark. I have finished The River Has Roots. I finished listening to the audiobook while I was making dinner and then doing some tidying up and chores, which I figured we didn't need to like share the chores aspect of it, but I made a chili oil noodle soup situation for dinner and finished the book. So my thoughts on the book are that I did end up liking it a lot more as it continued. I felt like the momentum picked up at some point, and the whole relationship between Esther and her partner and the sacrifices that she makes for her sister, to be with her sister and to keep her promises and those things without giving you any spoilers. I think it was so sweet and moving and touching, and I just found it to be very profound in that aspect, and I liked the incorporation of kind of mythology and magic into it in that way. I still feel like I don't fully understand the way that grammar and conjugation fits into the magic. Like, the thing that they say often is that the water conjugated, or the trees had grammar, or things like that, and I just like, I don't know if I'm just like not getting it, or whether it's not as clear, or what it is. I think I need to like sit with it a little bit, because it is such a short book. You don't get a lot of time to understand that, and I feel like the language is very vague about what that actually means. So either I'm just dumb and I'm not getting it, or it's not super clear. Either way, I'm okay with that. I feel like it is a little bit abstract, so I feel like it's okay if I don't fully like grasp it, but I'm interested to see what my aunt says about it tomorrow, because she's an English teacher and I feel like she might have some better perspectives on it, or like be able to speak to that a little bit. So all in all, I don't know quite what my rating is going to be yet. I feel like, you know, somewhere between 3 and 4 stars is appropriate, because I did enjoy it, but I didn't find it to be amazing or anything like that. But I also made a bit of progress on Eat the Ones You Love. Currently, I'm on page 60, so not a ton of progress. I ended up not reading for 2 hours by any means. I had some other things come up, so I did not read as much as I had hoped. But my hope is to read at least another 50 pages tonight, or 40 pages, at least get to page like 100. There's a section shoot that's around that point, and that will get me, you know, maybe a little over a third of the way through it, close to a half of the way through it. That is the plan for tonight. I do want to kind of take a little break and watch an episode of The Handmaid's Tale. I'm going back through after finishing all The Handmaid's Tale and like rewatching it, so I've been really on a kick with that. So I do probably want to get at least one episode in tonight, but I do want to read up until page 100 at least before I do that. So that's the plan for that. At that point, I still have that other audiobook for tomorrow that is 7 hours, and I can probably listen to that a little bit faster than 7 hours, because I'll listen to it on like 1.5 or 1.75, and that will help. But it is seeming unlikely that I'm gonna get here, so we will see about that. I think the goal still stands to read all of that audiobook, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a lot of like cooking and meal prep. Sundays are always my meal prep days, and I have to do a bunch of cooking for the work week. So that is the plan for tomorrow, but hopefully I will still have a good amount of time to complete this. I feel like I sort of got off track today and ended up doing other things besides reading, and that was not the original plan. We can get back on track, and tomorrow we can double down on reading. So that's the update for now, and this will probably be my last check-in for tonight, so I will see you in the morning. Good morning, good morning. It is day 2 of the 48-hour reading vlog. So I'm just now getting started with my day, and it is beautiful outside this morning, and I'm very concerned that if I don't take advantage of it immediately, it is going to be too late in the day and it's going to start raining again because there's rain in the forecast. So I think I'm gonna try to head for a walk to start the day and probably listen to my audiobook sometime in there. No, we're not biting the TV. Say hello. Her favorite thing right now is to jump up on the mantle and bite the TV. And the last thing I want is for the TV to break because there's 2 little teeth marks in there. So yeah, no. So I thought I would start my day with a walk. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook a little bit to start. Right after I finish my coffee, I will head in that direction. I did not make it as far in Eat the Ones You Love as I had anticipated. I got to page 80 and then I just was too tired and I ended up going to bed. So I do need to catch up when it comes to that book, but I am gonna start my morning off with starting Nevada, the audiobook. So interested to see how that goes. Oh, the only other thing I have to do this morning is soak rice. I need to start soaking rice because I am cooking a bunch today, and I need to get that going so that the brown rice needs to soak for a couple of hours. That's typically how I make it. So I like to leave it for a while I'm doing other things in the morning, and then I can cook that later. But yeah, that is the plan so far. Not a ton of reading updates for you, just general life updates, but that is the plan. So I'm gonna go for a walk and I'll see you in a bit. So I am about 40% of the way through Nevada at the moment, and someone is sitting on my lap. You can't see her because of the camera angle, but she's licking my arm and it's very cute. But I am about 40% of the way through Nevada, and I've almost completed all of my cooking for the day, depending on what time my husband gets home from his military drill. I may have to make something else for dinner. Otherwise, I'll probably just grill dinner it up because I feel like I had kind of a big lunch. I had an acai bowl, but then I've also been like snacking on little bits of things that I make. This always happens on Sundays. I feel like I fill up really quick because I like take a little bit of like everything that I'm making and just like snack on it. So I had a bit of a big lunch. So depending on what time he gets home, that will determine the dinner situation. But otherwise, yeah, I talked to my aunt for a while. I had a lovely walk. Now I'm just sort of sitting on the couch and continuing to listen to this book. And then also I've been working on a little sticker book thing. I really enjoy doing these paint by stickers. This is the one that I'm working on right now. It's a Monstera plant. Basically what you do is you just have all of these like stickers and they're numbered, and like there's a letter and number associated with it, and then you just like paint by stickers on the page. And I've done a couple of them in here, and it's just like a fun, like mindless activity, just like coloring or something like that to do while I'm like listening to an audiobook. I tend not to do it while I'm watching TV because I do have to focus a little bit on it. I mean, it's mindless, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like I'm paying attention to it visually, and I can't like do that while doing something else TV wise, but it's a perfect activity if you're listening to an audiobook. So I'm gonna continue listening to the audiobook while I do that. It looks like I have another 4 hours of this audiobook, but I'm listening to it on 1.75 speed, so it should go a bit quicker than that. I feel confident that I can finish that today. I don't know about finishing this one because I've made no progress since I last spoke to you. I'm only 80 pages in, and I'm wondering whether I am gonna get to this at all today. I think that depends on a lot of factors. But, my thoughts on Nevada at the moment. I am really enjoying it, actually. I feel like literally my mood just improved so much like after I started this book and have been like getting into it and everything. Not that it's like a particularly happy book or anything, but now that I'm like reading this book that I'm enjoying, I just feel so much better. I'm in such a better mood because my reading is not totally just, you know, a bunch of 3 stars. So I don't know about what the rating system is going to be for this book, but I am really enjoying it. So far, it is following a woman named Maria. She's a trans woman. She works at a bookstore in New York City, and she just had a breakup with her girlfriend, and she's sort of trying to figure out who she wants to be as a single woman. She's never been single since transitioning, so this is her first experience being a single woman. I know that this book is heading in the direction of her meeting someone who she thinks is trans and trying to like convince them to transition or something like that. We haven't gotten to that part yet, but we've mostly just been following her and her relationship with her ex-girlfriend and sort of her musings and inner monologue. It's very much like her inner thoughts and perspectives on things, and even though it is written in third person, it is like over her shoulder, so we're only really getting things from her eyes. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I think I'm just gonna continue listening to that and continue working on my paint by sticker thing for a little while, and then at some point maybe I'll take a break and work on this. So sorry this is kind of a rambly video. I feel like I've just been sort of talking at you. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now, and I'm just gonna continue doing that. Filming in this direction because my kitchen's a bit of a mess, but I have just finished making a delicious pasta situation. I decided that I had some leftover chorizo that I needed to use up, and I was using it for lunches, so I decided to just make a little like chorizo and pasta thing. So I made a chorizo and broccoli rabe pasta. It was penne, and I put like some garlic and onions and deglazed it with some Marsala wine, and it looks delish. So I'm excited to dig into that. Okay, so it's starting to get dark, and also my husband is home, so I just wanted to pop on to wrap up this video. I wanted to let you know that I finished Nevada. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the character development was so interesting. I really liked the first half the best, I would say, but second half I also enjoyed a lot, so I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I do think that it was better than a 3-star rate. I didn't feel like mid about it. I did actually actively really enjoy it. I just think that I was more interested in the exploration of just the one character rather than like how the character interacted with this other character who she was trying to convince was trans. But the dynamic was very interesting in terms of exploring like how much she was getting involved in this person's experience of their gender. It was just a fascinating concept and something I'd never really thought about before. So I did really enjoy thinking about that and the way that it was presented. However, I did like the first half better. But that being said, I really did enjoy Nevada. The other thing is that I made it to page 150 in this book, and I am still very much enjoying it. I'm excited to see how it continues to unfold. I didn't film a ton of me reading this. I filmed a little bit of me reading it earlier, but I didn't complete everything that I said I was going to. However, I feel pretty good about finishing 2 audiobooks and reading half of this book. So we're gonna count that as a win. Other than that, I don't have a ton more to say about the book without like spoiling anything. So I'm still gonna continue reading that in the next couple days, but I just wanted to sign off on this video because it's just the 48 hours. So I feel pretty good about the progress I made in this video, and it was just fun to take you along with me on this weekend of reading. So thank you so much for being here. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.